not going to believe me. Today I'm going to keep you out of the zoo. We'll go there, but we'll explore the area before the cashier windows, so that you don't need to buy a ticket for today's landscaping outing. For the sake of disambiguation, together with the popular name, I'll identify the plants also with the scientific name. I hope that Latin names don't scare you. Let's go. The famous colony of flamingos is placed to the left of the entrance and actually before the turnstiles. That's a little treat before you officially visit the zoo. By the way, the flamingo's color is not pink but salmon. They enjoy here a shallow pond and some land designed specifically for them. They must be really happy here since they are free to leave, but they don't fly out. Nevertheless, there is a real estate problem here with just a patch of land for several dozen flamingos. End of May and June, with the need of land for nesting, they go into frequent noisy quarrelings. The background of the flamingos is a terracotta wall with several splendid specimens of the Swiss cheese plant, or split-leaf philodendron, also known as Adam's rib, scientific name, Monstera deliciosa, an evergreen climber with huge leaves. It is able to grow climbing up to 65 foot high in the wild, with large, leathery, glossy, pinnate, heart-shaped leaves up to 35 in long by 30 in broad, lobed and fenestrate as they grow. It's also widely used as a ground cover sort of. This wall is not among the best locations for this plant, since it's a shade lover and on this spot the afternoon sun hits hard. There are other specimens better placed along Zoo Miami that we'll discover along our walk. To the left and on the background, behind a silver Bismarck palm tree, we spot a fully developed fishtail palm tree, Latin name Caryotomatus, better seen if we walk around the wall. It usually grows this way, a colony of plants with long dark green leaves composed by leaflets that remind the tail of a fish. The long leaves grow directly from the base, with several, or let's say no visible common trunk. But, let's backtrack a little to admire to the right what seems to be a powder puff tree, Latin name Calyandra haematocephala, of an exceptionally large size. It makes me doubt because it usually grows up to 15 feet, but here it reached around 20 feet and with a span even larger. But it must be so because the leaves and the flowers are those of a powder puff. Another day we'll see inside Zoo Miami other smaller exemplars that allow us to contemplate the delicate flowers, each one with small green petals and a calyx with up to 100 long, hair-like, colorful stamens that protrude well beyond the petals and that reminds us the popular name of powder puff. There are also several specimens of the dwarf variety that grows as a bush, although the flowers are abundant yet smaller and less showy. To the left and right of the powder puff tree and separated by a large signature shrub, we can watch two ways of growing the native firebush, scientific name, Hamuli patens. To the left, a full-grown shrub being allowed to develop its full size like in the wilderness. To the right, the same firebush manicured as a contained hedge, at the cost of a curtailed blossoming. Let's backtrack again because the parking and the entrance areas still reserve several beauties for us. The Zoo Miami sign with the two animals cutouts that you find after parking the car is the favored place for the first family group selfie. On the landscaped island area across the sign, it used to be a symphony of yellows that recently has been removed to give way to a new design. I will reserve my opinion for a year until the shrubs have grown. Closer to the parking lot we still can see a smaller group of yellows, including a group of unusual yellow flower hibiscus aimed at contrasting with the reddish flowers of the next royal poinciana tree above. Meanwhile, the ceiba, also known as kapok tree, is the focus of attraction. Probably due to its presence in many tropical and subtropical countries, it has been called with many names. The kapok tree genus today includes the Bombax ceiba, red flowering, and Ceiba pentandra, with white flowers. Recent botanical opinions incorporate Coryza ternata within the Ceiba family. In any case, the popular English name of this tree is floss silk tree. Its flowers are a real beauty and the whole tree when in bloom is nothing short of spectacular. The flowers are creamy whitish in the center and pink toward the tips of their 5 petals. They measure around 6 inches in diameter with a shape superficially similar to hibiscus flowers. The ceiba flowers are typically in bloom between February and May, but it may bloom at other times of the year, even as late as November in Florida. In the same area and also in pink we have the rainbow shower tree, Latin Cassia javanica, with a superabundant shower of white and pink and hints of yellow. The individual flowers are smaller than the floss silk but so numerous that they cover the whole tree. In both cases, the blue sky makes a perfect background when taking pictures of these pink flowers. Nearby, past the cashier number 1 and the giraffe cutout, you'll spot some months of the year a flowering copperpod, Latin name Peltophorum pterocarpum, with its pyramid-like groups of yellow flowers. It also goes by the names of yellow flamboyant, yellow flame tree, or yellow poinciana, although it can be confusing since there is a yellow variety of the royal poinciana as well. This is one of the value trees frequently used at Zoo Miami, whose feathery leaves allow a filtered sun to reach the plants below. After the flowers wither, the copper-colored seed pods appear like little erect copper flags. If we retreat towards the parking area, we'll discover 2 full rows of flowering bushes along the strip of land between the 2 parking lots, with a line of floss silk trees in the middle. Here especially we will be able to appreciate a number of bougainvillea varieties, Latin name Bougainvillea spectabilis, that are not present inside the zoo boundaries. The bougainvillea is a plant difficult to classify because it isn't properly a glimmer, but nevertheless it can grow up to 40 foot tall, scrambling over other plants and trees, climbing over them with its spiky thorny limbs. Its branches bear heart-shaped green leaves and masses of papery bracts. Pay attention because those are not the flowers. You'll discover the minuscule creamy daisy-shaped flowers among the colorful bracts. Walk along the strip to decide, if you can, which one is your favorite. Currently, there are over 300 varieties of bougainvillea around the world as a result of the hybrids crossed over several generations. Here we can admire up to 6 in white, pink, orange, purple, and burgundy. Look at this one in light pink behind me. Isn't it gorgeous? On this same strip, we can also ponder the contrast with other shrubs that have been planted intentionally. The best achieved contrast, or at least my favorite maybe of any of the bougainvillea hues, with the pale blue of the plumago. But other contrasts are available as well, like the small yellow abundant flowers of the gold shower, also known as Thryallis, Latin name Galphimia glauca, with the tubular orange flowering Florida native firebush, the also orange flowers of the Cape honeysuckle, scientific name Tecoma capensis, or the pink flowering Dombea, Latin name Dombea wallachii, a flowering shrub known by the common names pink ball, bellflower plant, and tropical hydrangea, or the pinkish red of the powder puff, the Calliandra, in this case with the dwarf bush variety. Also consider the bush clock vine, Latin name Thumbergia erecta, with its purple flowers with an always mysterious deep yellow eye. If you look for reds, you have the native resilient Ixalis, that are so used in Florida that gardeners almost consider it a weed in spite of its beautiful red bouquets. Or the red variety of hibiscus. Or the small flower blooming Jatropha integerrima, commonly known in Florida as peregrina. Look close up because the contrast of the golden stamens on the vivid red petals is especially beautiful. For some of the plants mentioned, you can also look for an intense yellow background provided by the Song of India, or Pride of India, Latin name Dracaena reflexa. If you have a bit more time, you can go to the end of the strip. You'll find their other usual suspects, the royal poinciana tree, Latin name Delonix riga, that in May-June is in full splendor, totally covered by a blanket of its praised red-orange flowers. Another rainbow shower covered with hundreds of pink, white and yellow flowers, and a silk floss tree. You'll also find there a couple of generous thickets of crotons, one of them hosting in their mid a variegated trinette and the other goes for the sake of contrast to a yellow dotted croton. The cattail or chenille plant is always ready to add some color to the party. Also another red flower, Jatropha peregrina, in this case with what we could say a cooler plant, that is, with only green and white colors. We'll find a shrub that looks like a jasmine, but it's not. It's the pinwheel flower shrub. The botanical name is the Tabernaea montana divaricata. Due to the jasmine aspect, it's also known as crepe jasmine. Among other varieties, there are in this area 2 bougainvilleas that are clearly clashing. As an example of what shouldn't be done, the strong pink and the strong orange-red. There are colors that if used, we better put something in between, like this bougainvillea with white creamy flowers. Another curiosity plant is this area is the small oval-leaved snow bush, Latin name Brania disticha. Along the path you'll notice that there is a full collection of palm trees, from foxtail, to royal palm, subtle palmetto, Washingtonias, Adunias or Bismarck palms, and a couple of curiosities like this thorny palm tree, totally covered by thorns like black needles, or Cuban petticoat palm. Actually, you'd had noticed the majestically arranged access road with 3 lines of fully grown palm trees, mostly of 2 species, the royal palm with its beautiful pillar-like trunks and the silver-toned fanleaf Bismarck plant. Hope you have enjoyed the outskirts of Zoo Miami, where the botanical beauty overflows to the surroundings, providing a good prologue for what we'll find inside the zoo premises.